Happy Wednesday. I had to think about the day again. I should know it's Wednesday because it's SAG nomination day, John.
Woo!
I actually had that reaction and that kind of energy at 7 a.m. this morning when I was watching the announcements on Instagram Live. I'm still very excited, maybe a little sleepier than I was before, though.
Days like this, you just, you get up, you do what you got to do, and then, maybe in the afternoon you take a nap.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah, today's not likely a nap day, but maybe
It very
tomorrow.
rarely is, but you can
Maybe-
always hope.
Maybe I'll sleep tonight or take a nap tomorrow. Are you sleeping? I'm more concerned about your sleep than mine.
I got about 2.5 hours of sleep last night, so that's that's at least something.
That's a win for you, right? Yeah.
I slept. That's the important thing.
Okay, I'll take
Some
that.
days I don't even get that.
See, Mike gets it. Sleep, what's that? Hello, Steve. How are you doing today? So John, I've completely forgotten the order that we're going in today. I believe our first topic is the title topic, if I am correct.
Yes.
It is that the news is official. Kaitlyn Dever has joined the cast of The Last of Us as Abby. I will read briefly from the Collider.com article. The Last of Us was renewed for a second season shortly after its premiere, with season 2 set to follow the events of the 2020 video game The Last of Us Part 2. Fans have eagerly been anticipating the casting of Abby Anderson, a key character introduced in the game's sophomore run, whose role is pivotal to the story and the legacy of the game. Thankfully, the wait is over, and it's been announced that Kaitlyn Dever has been cast in the role of Abby. Variety confirmed. So I am not a Last of Us game player. I have watched a significant amount of cutscenes over the years. I am very familiar with the lore. I love the first season of the show. So I'm not going to speak about this casting as though I know a whole lot about Abby the character and why I think Kaitlyn Dever is best suited for the role. But in my personal opinion, having seen a significant amount of Kaitlyn Dever's work, I am a big believer that she could do absolutely anything. And any role, any production is lucky to have her. So I am very happy to have her join the ensemble of this highly acclaimed show that I love.
I will say that Abby, I think, was going to be a tough character to cast for regardless. So just getting somebody in there who's relatively talented, I think, is all that you're really gonna need for that one. She is a buffer character, so Dever's gonna have to probably put on some muscle, but I think that she'll be able to manage it, so that's not really a concern there. Outside of that, she's gonna be carrying a lot of the narrative of the second game on her shoulders, so she definitely has a tough job cut out for her, but she should probably be able to handle it, I think.
Just in case anyone out there is not familiar with Kaitlyn Dever's body of work, might I recommend some favorites like Short Term 12? Booksmart is exceptional. And then also, if you follow the award season circuit as closely as I do, you have recently been talking a lot about Kaitlyn Dever for her work in Dope Sick, which she's also exceptional. And I'm just naming 3 titles there. You could easily roulette pick anything on her filmography and be in pretty damn good shape. So highly recommend. Oh, here, I'll bring up Mike Joyce name dropping. No One Will Save You also. And a movie like that does not work without her performance at its core. And she is exceptional in that movie. She is CCA nominated for that movie. In fact, maybe she will win on Sunday. Who knows? We shall see. There's another piece of news that pertains to The Last of Us Season 2 that dropped right before we went live, I believe, at 9 a.m. Pacific. This is coming from Variety. I'll read from their report. Last of Us Season 2 casts Beef star Young Mazzino as Jesse. The Last of Us Season 2 is continuing to build out its cast. Young Mazzino is now the latest actor to join the hit HBO series. Variety has learned Mazzino will appear in Season 2 as Jesse, said to be, and this is a quote, a pillar of his community who puts everyone else's needs before his own, sometimes at terrible cost. So again, I am not going to speak to the character of Jesse as though I've played the game because I haven't, but as someone who is quite obsessed with Beef and his work in it, I think this is another excellent add to this ensemble and just signals that The Last of Us will continue to soar in its run. It's already doing quite well in terms of fan reception during award season, and given this casting, I think that's bound to continue in season 2.
I actually just had to look up who Jesse was in Last of Us 2 because I
Oh.
didn't remember. I didn't remember a character named Jesse, but now that I've actually looked him up, I do very much remember because he did have quite a bit at the beginning of the game, at least. Yeah, I think that this is good. I actually just heard the news from you, so I don't have too much to comment on this one.
Have you watched Beef?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God.
I know I'm terrible. I am probably like I am the worst when it comes to watching things sometimes because I just don't have time.
Beef is a worthwhile binge, though. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. Sometimes you got to treat yourself to sleep. I understand, but other times you got to treat yourself to good shows and films.
I will add it to the list. I will move it up closer to the top at the very least.
I will happily take that. Just because this was part of an interview I had done with Kaitlyn in the past. Kaitlyn Dever used to be my number one fan cast for Ellie back before the show was a thing. Love her work. I think it was in I want to say 2020, and she was either on. I feel like it wasn't Collider Ladies Night. I feel like it was at the beginning of lockdown when we were still doing Collider Connections, and we did a lengthy interview, and I brought up all the fan casting for her playing Ellie in the show, and it was one of those things where like she was very receptive to it and all that. It's just, it's funny to have had that conversation and see the situation evolve, and maybe it not pan out exactly that way, but maybe pan out for the better now, just in terms of timing, quality of role, how this particular role could maybe, expand her body of work and let her do things that we haven't seen her do before. I just love this. I want all good things for her.
I think she would have done a great job as Ellie. Like, I think she definitely looks the part for sure. But I think that Bella Ramsey did a great job.
She's exceptional.
Like, yeah, I had absolutely no complaints about her casting. As soon as she showed up on screen, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is Ellie, like through and through.
She is something else. While we're talking about that, let me at least list off the SAG nominations that the show scored, because that is our next topic for the day. We have a lot of films and performances to celebrate right now. And, just to give you some, we're focusing on film for this conversation, but just because we were just talking about The Last of Us, I'll tell you that it received a nomination for Outstanding Performance by an Ensemble in a Drama Series, a very big deal. It also received one for Outstanding Performance by a Male Actor in a Drama Series, of course, for Pedro Pascal's work. Bella Ramsey was indeed nominated for Outstanding Performance by a Female Actor in a Drama Series. I believe it got stunts, outstanding action performance by a stunt ensemble in a television series, The Last of Us. And I think that's it. That's it. It got all those nominations. I'm like, that's it.
I'm not seeing any others.
It did quite well at SAG, and I have a feeling that this is going to be a juggernaut of a series in award season in general now throughout its run too. So
100%.
That is where that one stands. Now, let's look at the film categories, beginning with Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture, American Fiction, Barbie, The Color Purple, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Oppenheimer. John, what are you rooting for most? What surprised you? You name it.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a little bit surprised that Barbie is getting as much love as it is when it comes to the nominations. Because while I think the film is enjoyable, I did not necessarily think that the acting was like particularly standout. But that being said, all the rest of the nominations are pretty much exactly spot on what I was thinking was going to happen. If I had to venture a guess as far as total cast, probably Killers of the Flower Moon. I think that they probably had the best showing in regards to the actual craft of acting, in my opinion. Although if Oppenheimer pulled out a win, wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, I'm still giving Oppenheimer the edge for the win. I'm not going to say any of these nominees surprised me, but I will say that first American Fiction getting nominated in this category, I think continues to boost its profile during award season. I thought it was getting a Best Picture nomination regardless, but maybe it's going to creep up a notch or two on my list. The big one, though, is The Color Purple getting nominated here because it was a late season entry and it had a lot of ground to make up. And I think as far as its Best Picture nomination goes, it getting this particular nomination is key in that race. So the fact that it got the Outstanding Ensemble nomination at SAG, I think that means it is highly likely now, not just likely, that it will also get a Best Picture nomination at the Oscars. All right. Outstanding performance by a male actor in a leading role. Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. John, can I brag to you for a minute?
Always.
5 for 5. 5 for 5. And I think and I want this same group to go on to get Best Actor nominations from the Academy.
Honestly, I would be surprised if they didn't.
I would not. I do think there's still a chance Leonardo DiCaprio could take one of these spots. And I wouldn't be mad if he did, but I think these might be the 5 I would pick.
Yeah, I mean, to me, none of these are all that surprising. I think that if I had to venture a guess on who I think is going to win based on these, I think it's going to be Cillian Murphy. I just think that he just absolutely crushed it in Oppenheimer. That being said, you know, if Bradley Cooper pulled out a win, that also wouldn't surprise me too much. Yeah, I don't know. That's where my heart lies right now.
I do think Cillian Murphy has a very good shot. I do think the person he's got to watch out for who could very easily take this win both here and at the Academy Awards is Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers. One of the highlights of the Golden Globes for me was seeing him win and hearing his speech. So I think he has a good chance. Outstanding performance by a female actor in a leading role. Annette Bening for Naiad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, Margot Robbie for Poor Things. Oh, geez, I just mixed them up. Margot Robbie for Barbie and Emma Stone for Poor Things. Just for fun, I love that. I understand why no one would ever do this because it would be too expensive of an experiment, but I love the idea of actors swapping roles just to see like the different interpretations. And like now that I've said that, could you imagine if Emma Stone played Barbie and Margot Robbie played Bella Baxter? I would enjoy that.
I could very much see Margot Robbie in Poor Things. I don't know if I can see Emma Stone and Barbie as much. Like, I think that Margot Robbie just embodied that role so much that I have a hard time seeing anybody else doing it.
She was pretty perfect.
But yeah, I don't know. That does sound like a fun time. Let's just take all of the lead actors who are nominated for everything.
Swap them up.
Do a scene at least from each other's movies.
I've pitched that video series many a times. I think it's a hard thing to make happen. Performing, whether it's in a full feature film or even just like an experiment like that, is a lot to give of yourself to something. So I understand it.
Incredibly draining. It can be, at least.
It does seem like we've got 4 close to sure thing nominations here for the Oscars in terms of Lily Gladstone, Carey Mulligan, and Margot Robbie and Emma Stone. I think Annette Bening is the biggest toss-up at the moment. I love Naiad. I'm very happy to see her name on this particular list. I think if anyone's SAG nomination doesn't translate to an Oscar nomination, she is the one at the greatest risk, but I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed mighty tight that Naiad's SAG love is going to be reflected in the Academy as well.
I could see it going that way, but then again, I do kind of agree with you that it seems like it's the one that is probably on the most shaky ground as far as if it's going to get Academy love. But you know, I think that it's a great enough performance that if it got the nomination, I would not be surprised. But if it doesn't, I also wouldn't be surprised.
Can I add one more thing to our Emma Stone, Margot Robbie role swap idea? You know what else I would think would be really funny? I would just like to see, like, let them keep their roles. Like Emma Stone is Bella Baxter, Margot Robbie is Barbie, but I just want them to do an improvised scene together. I think that would be brilliant, actually.
Those 2 characters in a single scene together might be amazing, might also be overwhelming.
I think it would be amazing, especially because of how they process and experience the world and our societal reality. I think it would be fascinating.
Yeah. I'm down for it.
I
Things
thought you
like
were going
this,
to be easier sell with that.
things like this, I want to see just all the time. But it's one of those things that, as you say, it's just so big of an ask to get it done.
Of course. It would be cool, though. It would be cool. All right. Outstanding performance by a male actor in a supporting role. Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction. Willem Dafoe for Poor Things. Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon. Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer. And Ryan Gosling for Barbie. Many good names on this list. John, you know who I've been rooting for the most since seeing the movie? Someone who I think has been on the bubble in terms of whether or not he will get a nomination. Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction. I yelped when his name was called today. Yelped. I was so happy.
He's one of those actors that every time he shows up, he always seems like he's just giving everything that he can, and he just crushes I don't think I've seen a single time where he has appeared where I wasn't absolutely just blown away by his performance. Even when he like guest spotted on like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and stuff, like he just showed up and he just absolutely dominated every moment that he was on screen. So like, it does not really surprise me that he's there. I'm super stoked that he is, because he definitely is deserving of all the accolades that he can possibly get.
He's very good. He's very good. I really want this to be an Oscar nomination for him as well. The other surprising thing in this, or more surprising thing than others in this category, is the fact that Willem Dafoe was nominated over Mark Ruffalo. And I'll give Steve credit. This is something that Steve predicted. I feel like I did quite well with my predictions in general. This was definitely like a place where Steve planted his flag, and I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. But it did. Willem Dafoe got nominated and Mark Ruffalo didn't. I'm a bit surprised. I'm not fully convinced that it's going to pan out that same way when it comes to Oscar nominations, but now I'm taking Willem Dafoe maybe a little more seriously than I had in this particular category.
Yeah, I certainly would have thrown Ruffalo's name out there and not Dafoe's for this, but you know, I'm not mad about it. I'm not angry.
Yeah. All right, last category that I'll get the stunts one in here too. Outstanding performance by a female actor in a supporting role. Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, Penelope Cruz for Ferrari, Jodie Foster for Nyad, and Da'Vine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. I think there were 3 locks in this category: Da'Vine, Danielle, Emily, and then Jodie Foster for me was always on like my next tier for my predictions. Like, it felt like she was probably going to get a nomination, but there was a chance she might not. So the fact that she got the SAG nomination is, further cementing in that Oscar prediction that I have. It's Penelope Cruz for Ferrari that was a bit of a curveball, just because Ferrari has not been the award season juggernaut people had expected before its release. So the fact that she got in was a little bit of a surprise to me. And I do think that this is going to be one of those situations where SAG goes 4 for 5 at the Oscars and she does not get a nomination, but someone else does in this category. Maybe someone like Julianne Moore, Taraji P. Henson, Rosamund Pike, America Ferrera. There's other very strong contenders, but Penelope Cruz got this nomination from SAG, so I got to take her chances seriously as well.
Of the other contenders that you threw out there, which one do you think is most likely to take it?
You will be able to read more about this in the Best Supporting Actress predictions that are going up on Collider.com later today. But I will tell you, I have picked one of those names, and I will use this as an opportunity to tease those articles that I work very, very hard on. So
get over there and read them.
Collider.com. Keep an eye out.
They're going up.
Yeah. All right. Stunts, which is not listed properly. I have to search it. Hold on a hot sec, guys.
Yeah,
Hold on. Outstanding action performance by a stunt ensemble in a motion picture. Barbie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, John Wick Chapter 4, and Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. My frontrunner in this category is Mission Impossible. I understand there's a lot of support behind John Wick. Mission Impossible blew my mind in a number of respects. And then my head scratcher nomination is Barbie.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, let's think of moments that were like big bombastic stunts. The Ken Civil War on the beach.
I mean, things like, Barbie floating down from the top of her from her house is a stunt.
Yeah,
I don't-
but like I
A
was trying to
different
think of
kind of
like
stunt.
what are the impressive ones that would be getting attention?
The
Not
beach
a lot of
fight.
them jumped out at me for Barbie, but
Yeah, I'm a little surprised.
I will say though that I'm with you. I think it's going to be Mission Impossible. I think that that's the one that to me just seems like the most likely winner out of all this. Although if John Wick pulled it out, I also wouldn't hate it
Yeah.
because both of those films have some really outstanding stunt work. And honestly, when it comes to stunt work across the board, like we just do not. I feel like the industry does not celebrate it as much as they really should. So, regardless of who wins, I think that everybody who was nominated did a great job. Again, Barbie surprises me, but I'm not like that's not to say that I didn't think that what they did was, not great. It's
Hmm.
just not nearly as bombastic as some of the other ones on this list.
Yeah, I do look forward to the day when things like stunts, casting directors, maybe voice performances are honored at the Academy Awards as well, because I don't think a lot of those fields get enough love during award season.
They really don't.
That takes us to the end of our SAG Award nomination coverage. Now we will move on to our last topic of the day, which is more casting news, specifically HBO casting news. John, I love this news. Do you watch The White Lotus?
That is one of those shows that I didn't pay any attention to until I had to do a video about it.
Oh.
And then as soon as I had to do a video about it, this was back when I was on Screen Rant. I had to do a video about season 2 and I wound up actually watching season 1 and 2 for the video. So, and I
See,
enjoyed it. I liked it. It was pretty
I
good.
like I like it a lot. I like it a
Not
lot.
my usual cup of tea, but I enjoyed it anyways.
So part of the reason why we're covering it today is because the latest person confirmed for the cast of season 3 is Carrie Coon, who I think is just absolutely electric in every single thing she's in. I think that her range is endless. I've seen her do so many different things, and all of those things just say to me like she's going to make the absolute most out of being, I don't know, a very likely like entitled, probably bitchy character in the White Lotus who, behaves like a lot of the past characters we've seen on the show. And I just think this ensemble is shaping up to be pretty exceptional. She joins Jason Isaacs, Parker Posey, Leslie Bibb, Michelle Monaghan. I mean, in particular, Parker Posey also really excites me for obvious reasons. If you know her filmography, I think she's going to be perfect in this, like playing in this world. And then also, I think Parker Posey is long overdue for like a significant resurgence. Like I want to see her crush this role and then get nominated for it, that kind of thing. She's so good.
There's been a lot of people on social media calling for a Parker Posey renaissance. So maybe it's time.
I mean, it did. I think it, put that possibility on the table last year with Bo, and now like she could use that as a launch pad to make that happen with this very popular show. I also think that Michelle Monaghan is very deserving of an opportunity like this. Not to say that I mean, she's been delivering high quality work. One of my favorite movies, not 2023, 2022, was a movie she was in called Nanny. Thought she was great in that. But, when you join the cast of The White Lotus, a very popular Emmy title and award season title in general, it gives you an opportunity to have a different kind of platform, have a bigger platform. And I think she like so deserving of it. And really same with Leslie Bibb. It is about time she is cast in a show like this. And I just can't wait for all of them to make the most of this.
This cast is stacked. I am super excited about this ensemble. I think that it's going to be fun to watch from beginning to end because there's not a single name on that list that I am not excited to see pop up and just be a part of the White Lotus shenanigans.
Who is your favorite White Lotus character thus far? That's a bad question for me to have asked. I don't even have a clear answer.
That is I'm also bad with character names, so I'm gonna have to go with it.
Say the actor name. It's all good.
Coolidge. That
Jennifer Coolidge. Oh my God.
she's just so like
White Lotus icon
oblivious
right
to
there.
things and so like just floated through everything that was going on in season 2, just not really understanding what was happening. It was just fun to watch.
She's really epic in that particular role. I mean, speaking of award season, she's definitely getting the love that she deserves. Thinking about season 1 in particular, someone who made a big impression, also because I loved him in Fear Street and I was just excited for him to do other big things. Fred Heckinger playing Quinn, also because I liked his journey and I liked where he landed. It was one of the, I guess it was one of the more heartwarming ends of the bunch in a sense. There's some like complicated layers to what he goes through as well, but I was just really satisfied with where they took that character in season 1. So he's pretty high up on my list. And then I'll say Haley Lou Richardson as Portia in season 2. Also because I really enjoyed the social media commentary that happened with that character in terms of people like liking her, not liking her, criticizing her costumes and all of that. I don't know. I had a fun time engaging in the analysis of that character.
See, because I watched the show after it was all finished and everything, I missed out on a lot of the like commentary from social media on that. But she was definitely a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Which to me, honestly, if I'm having a good time watching a character, that's all that really matters to me.
I don't blame you. All right. That takes us to the end of our topics. Is there anything you want to promote before we say goodbye?
Yeah, be sure to check out the Collider premium videos that we are putting up over on the website. When you are scrolling on collider.com, if you see a article thumbnail that has like a play button in the corner, that means that there is a video element to the article, which is something that myself and a team of very talented people are working on producing content for. That it is like every waking hour of my day these days is being spent working on those videos. So it'd be fantastic if you can go in there and check it out and show them a little bit of love, as it were. We don't have a comment section anymore, so you can't like say anything about them, but you know what, get in there, enjoy them. It's a nice little like supplement to the articles, and it's, I think, a fantastic addition to the website. Personally, I might be a little bit biased.
Can I promote something else for you?
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And it's like, it's locked. It's happening. We have confirmed it. Like you got your flights, right?
Yeah, I got my flights.
Okay. So it's a done deal. I could say this and not jinx anything.
Yeah, no.
John is joining us at Sundance, and it's going to mark his very first Sundance Film Festival, which is a big deal. Big deal, very exciting. And I have a feeling that a significant amount of, the social media coverage you're going to see and also the video coverage that we'll ultimately be posting is going to come through John. So I'm very, very excited to have you part of that team this year.
Yeah, I am so stoked to be going. It's going to be, we've talked about it a little bit, and my main sort of thought on it is it's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be really, really busy.
It's going to be the best. It's going to be the best kind of busy. We've already been comparing it to our Fantastic Fest experience, where you did, again, exceptional work there as well. I have a feeling it's going to feel like a very similar vibe, except for the fact that it's not going to be 100 degrees. It's going to be like 10 to 20 degrees, and you're going to be freezing your ass off.
Oh, it's going to be the other way. Well, luckily enough, I have some fantastic winter gear hilariously enough, most of my winter gear is from when I used to work at a TV station. I still have all of my like News 4 branded like gear. So you'll be seeing me in that, and you'll be like, I didn't know John worked for local news.
My gear isn't branded like yours, but I will say the winter coat I will be wearing is the one that I specifically bought for my very first job out of college, which speaks to how old it is. It's a black heavy winter coat when I first started working for New York One when I graduated, and was standing outside for many an hour in freezing temperatures and needed that coat desperately. So that's what I'll be wearing.
Because when I worked in local news, I was in Reno, Nevada. And so a lot of our coverage was like, blizzards down at Tahoe, or covering Donner Pass over in California, like all the chain controls and everything like that. So extreme weather was something that we needed to be prepared for. So I'm super stoked to have all of that. So I'm not going to be too worried about Salt Lake City being,
Park City.
all that cold. But we're going to be doing dailies episodes from Sundance.
Let's see how that pans out. High hopes we'll be able to do. High hopes we'll be able to do something. There's some logistical things we still have to figure out. So we shall see. But at the very least, you can keep up with us on a daily basis on our social media accounts and the Collider accounts as well. With that, I will say goodbye. And I'll also tease one ladies' night thing, just because Adam is hard at work on this right now. Our episode for this week is with Renee Rapp, who is just absolutely incredible in the new Mean Girls movie, and just like an incredible force in this industry in general, of like a positive force on the rise that I'm happy is here, and feel very grateful to be able to call the first ladies' night guest of 2024. So don't miss that this weekend. And also don't miss Collider Dailies tomorrow, right here, 10 a.m. Pacific. See you then.